Hi, this morning we're going to be installing a hotwatertaps.com Quantum 4-in-1. So when you receive the box, you'll have three inner boxes, one containing the tank, one containing the double filter, and then this box here which contains the tap, fitting instructions and all the fittings that you'll need. When you unpack your boxes, in the filter box you'll have, for the 4-in-1, the Quantum, you'll have a double filter housing, an antibacterial and an anti-scale cartridge. You'll have the actual digital tank itself, the power lead, operating instructions and care instructions for it. And in the tap box, you've got a instruction leaflet. Every hose is numbered, so literally very easy to follow. Plug number 7 into where it needs to go, etc. You've also got 2 bags of fittings that you'll need and some poly tubing, which again the instruction leaflet will demonstrate exactly where you need to place that. So when you've removed the existing kitchen tap, if there is one on the sink, you're ready to install your new boiling water tap. First thing you need to do is unscrew the fittings, which you do like so, removing them from the hoses. Same with the 2 washers. Okay. The fittings are all quite tight. There's quite a lot going on, so you've got to make sure that you wriggle the fittings through like so. Okay, then you're ready to install. So putting the hoses with the larger nuts through first, you literally thread all of the hoses, the fittings, through the tap hole, with the one with the spigot end last. So now, as you can see, all the hoses are now under the sink, and what we now have to do is put the washers, rubber and metal first, back onto the hoses. Just like so. And then the horseshoe, just fully unscrew the screws either side, and then that just simply slips over the hoses like that. It's a case of threading the brass screw onto the base of the tap thread, and then it's just purely a case of tightening up until it's secure. And when it is secure, using a Phillips head screwdriver, you literally just tighten those screws up fully and the tap will be held rigidly in place. Okay, we're going to start now making all the connections. First job is using the brass angle valve that fits onto the cold water inlet, just like so. We'll tighten all the water connections up later before we do a proper testing. Then the hose mark number 1, which is the cold feed, attaches to the brass angle valve, like so. And hose number 2, which is the hot feed, goes directly onto the end of the hot feed under the sink. In this instance, an isolation valve. We're now going to connect hose number 7, which attaches to the top of the brass T-piece that we've just installed. So the end of hose 7 then goes into the inlet. You can just see it marked there on the filter, like so. Okay, and then you take the 3/8 polyethylene tube into the outlet, and again these are all push fit fittings. So when you've connected the filter on the 2 push fit fittings, if you ever need to remove either of the hoses, you remove the blue clip and then you push in the end there, and the pipe will come out. Okay, so if the blue clip remains in place, you can't take the pipe out. So I've just pre-plumbed the 1/4 inch tube, the T onto one end and the male line fitting onto the other. We're going to take the end with the T and attach the 3/8 polythene tube in like so. Okay, the male line then screws directly onto hose 4. We then take hose number 5 and it goes into the upstand on the T-piece like so. Okay, before we install the tank, we're just going to pop the filters into the housing. This can be basically done at any stage. You can do it pre-installation, not a problem. Remove the packaging. The blue is the antibacterial filter, and the grey one is anti-scale. Okay, so all you do, and this is the same for changing a filter, you'd isolate the water. It's a 1/4 turn. The housing drops out. Unscrew the housing top. Ensure that the O-ring stays in place. You pop the filter in with the hole up. Screw it into place. And then it is a 1/4 turn fit onto the housing, and you just replicate that for the antibacteria. Now we've got all the connections made, fittings have been tightened, those that are in place so far. We're going to put the tank into situ. So you just drop it in, remove the 2 travel caps. Okay, hose number 3. Goes onto the blue inlet, and hose number 6, removing the O-ring, ensure that that goes into place. That goes onto your boiling 98-degree water outlet, and again they're tightened into place. Now that is all the plumbing connections done. What we're now going to do is we're going to switch both the hot and cold water feeds on the ISO valves, and then I'll show you and explain how to commission the tank. Now all the water connections are checked, water's turned back on. Before we plug the power unit in to commission the tank, what we need to do is move back up to the tap. On the boiling, and on this is a Quantum, so you've got filtered water and boiling. On the boiling and filtered valve, press the safety button, rotate the valve round, and effectively what that will do is fill the tank first. It takes about 1.5 minutes. When the tank is full, water will begin to come out of the central spout. As you can see, the tank is now full because water is coming out of the central spout. So you can release the valve. Okay, so if you then press and hold the central button, you can see the LED springs to life. Using the up arrow, you can then go through the various this is the setting that you're setting the tank to work to. Anything really from 55 degrees to 98 degrees. Well, for this instance, we'll set it to 95 degrees. The heating light is on and the bars are pulsing. That tells you that the tank is going through its heat up process. So that will take, because it's first installation, that will take 5 or 6 minutes. And advice will be then run the tank to cold, reheat it again, run it to cold, and then when it reheats the 3rd time, you're good to use it for your teas, coffees, etc. As you can see, the tank now has got to the 95 degrees that we set it to. You can go higher if you wish. And I'll now just show you the operation of the tap. On the Quantum 4-in-1, you've got the regular hot and cold mixed water on that valve, and on this valve, press the safety button, rotate forward, that is filtered cold, and press the safety button, rotate and hold the valve back, and you'll see that is the 95 degree water, but as I said before, you can set it to 98 degrees should you wish.